You know, I've always loved live music and live people playing, and there's a certain wonderful feeling when you go to a live concert because you know it's right in this moment, and it brings everybody right to the moment of, you know, the moment of the sound. Every sound is like tactical, or, you know, you can feel it. And so I followed a lot of great bands in San Francisco during the 60s and all. And one time I was dancing and I didn't realize that this band, this band was playing this music that kept on getting faster and faster. And it went faster and faster, and I'm not a big dancer, but that was when I was a teenager. I was a teenager coming out of high school still, and I was dancing, and suddenly I realized, my God, this band is like speeding up the tempo. I'm going faster. It was like a kind of a awareness of the moment, like, wow, how did this happen? You know, usually a song is just regular beat, and then it was going faster and faster, and I was looking over at my buddy, and we were both dancing faster and faster because they were increasing the beat, and so we followed that. I followed that myself, and I'm kind of a stumbling, you know, I decided at that time I really love to move my body because it really is a connection to the music, not just listening. And so I moved my body and followed along with that increase of tempo, and all of a sudden, when it was going so fast I thought I couldn't move to it, it dropped down to an incredibly slow blues, and I went into this moment of, wow, this is amazing. This is fantastic. It was like a moment of kind of a realization of how magical moments can be with music. And I don't even think I was stoned. I think I had a little bit of something with a friend of mine before, but we were not really high or anything. It wasn't that. It was like the music, and it was the music and the moment and the magic that it created that put me into what I might call kind of a tiny satori that they would say, like in Zen, which is a moment of connection with universal powers. So like, wow, I was like gone to myself, but I was connected to all of everybody, and for a second there I was good and happy and nowhere but somewhere. That's the Grateful Dead that I was dancing to, that one song, Viola Lee Blues. Anyway, since then I've been dancing whenever I can. Every kind of band I can follow, especially the bands that are not just, I love rock and roll, but it's just a simple 1-2-1-2, but there's some polyrhythms coming out of the Caribbean, great music coming out of African nations, incredible complicated stuff that my body feels like it really likes a challenge to move in a different way, not just the disco beat, which I did dance to for a while, but that was a little boring after a period, but there's some beautiful music playing around the world, and the whole world is like, as they say, the world is my oyster kind of thing. There's so much great world music all around that I'm influenced and enjoy all of it, from every kind of rhythm and melody and everything. So music is a magical, mystical tour of magical mystery, you know, tour into kind of a moment of raw reality. That's what. Oh, we got to keep. Let me concentrate now.
Yeah, well, that's Krishnanda, and he's as we are entering San Rafael here, talking about dance and magic of the past, how he was dancing, and was also wondering about your relationship with consciousness and music, and how you feel like music helps expand the consciousness.
Oh yeah, it's a way. It's kind of like a springboard, you know, like with a swimming pool. Music and dancing, especially, is like a springboard into the mystical moments of what people often call meditation,
Right.
or Zen and all that kind of. It's kind of like a joyous way to lead yourself into those moments of a joyful connection with all the universe, when I actually disappear and enjoy just being part of everybody.
Right.
Now we're getting the call
Is this
from
our exit right there?
No, we keep going.
Okay.
And that's just another friend of mine. I'll get him later.
So, how did you get involved with the FarEyeShows.com band? How did that happen?
That was another magical thing, magical moment. So I was in Oakland, Berkeley, coming back from living in Taiwan and studying Tibetan meditation and living with a Taiwanese woman who was my wife at the time. And I decided I wanted to get a convertible car, so I had a chance to get a Mustang convertible. And then somewhere, I used to always haunt these record and CD stores. I think it was Amoeba in Berkeley, or possibly Rasputin, whatever. I found a CD that was called Sacred Journey, and I have been following reggae for the last 10 years or so, and loving Third World and the reggae that is done by all these different Jamaicans. And I have to say this, whenever I say reggae, people always say Bob Marley, but that's kind of like saying Elvis was the end of rock and roll. Bob Marley went international. He's the beginning of reggae, but there's been so many fabulous. I even went to Jamaica for Reggae Sunsplash in 1990 with a gal friend who loved reggae, and there's been so much great reggae. And this Sacred Journey band that I found sounded like Third World, or one of these great, Black Uhuru, or one of these great reggae bands. And I looked there, and it was like, said Oakland, an Oakland band, and I'm born in Oakland. I was born in Merritt Hospital in Oakland, and I'm saying, I'm driving around the Bay Area here, getting my roots back in my Mustang convertible, listening to Sacred Journey, and I'm saying, man, I got to meet these guys. And I even emailed them, but I guess whoever the email was for was not responding, or maybe he wasn't interested. He just said, hey, yeah, we're not really happening anymore. But then, a few years later, I went to a mystical, kind of a universal love event in Berkeley with a few people, and then I met FarEye, who was playing the music there. Later, I played music with him in the streets in Oakland, and then later I found out he was not only in the Sacred Journey band, but he wrote a lot of the songs, and he was kind of the driving force of that band. So I said, wow, I guess I did meet this guy, these guys. And now I can't believe I'm actually, usually I've been an enjoyer and a dancer and a lover of music, and I've got thousands of musical CDs, and I've carried drums throughout my life, playing them off and on at beaches, at parties, at, with jamming with people and all this stuff. But now I'm playing with the same band, basically. I mean, not the same band, but the guy who was FarEyeShields.com, who started the Sacred Journey. And I was really impressed by Sacred Journey because it was the first reggae band I heard talk about chakras, guru, Eastern mystical stuff, as well as the usual Jamaican subjects of conversation in reggae music. And mostly the universal love part. That is my cup of tea.
So, how do you feel about playing music? You were saying you're dancing. This is FarEye, the voice of FarEye. I'm not on camera. This is the voice of FarEye as we are driving to San Rafael to meet Patin
in rehearse.
Brother Ramadan's not going to be with us today, but we have some new toys We have a drum machine and a voice synthesizer that we're going to play around with. But how does it feel with playing music now, Krishnanda, as opposed to dancing and, you know, being in the audience? How does it feel to be on stage?
It's like this, and a friend of mine, and a bass player in Santa Barbara once told me this. You know, we were in our 20s and 30s, and we were all learning mystical stuff and musical stuff. And he was telling me, you know what? We've been riding along for a long time on a lot of great creative talents with other people, and now we got to take the driver's seat. We got to help our other brothers, our younger people. We got to help them go to where we have been. It's kind of a in breath, out breath. You breathe in, you got to breathe out. You take in, we got to take out. So, in a way, this drumming is kind of an extension of my dancing. I actually kind of let my legs help me dance in my rhythms, and I think I understand dancing a lot because I understand drum playing a lot better since I do dance regularly as a meditation. I have a meditation dance, and so my legs are part of my musical expression too, as that is my legs and my whole body. So anyway, that's it's a nice thing.
Give back. It's time to give back.
It's a give back. Yeah, it's a give. It's like we're the guys now who have to kind of help out the young fellas and gals go to places where we were helped by the elders when we were kids.
So what role do you feel like music has in playing as far as the expansion of consciousness of humanity, or what contribution do you feel like music can make to humans becoming more enlightened or more aware of their innate powers, or just their ability to have a great life?
Music has always been a kind of the peaceful, creative matrix community gathering part for humans. And even I found out recently that the Celtics from England used to travel around as nomads and musicians. They would travel around, and they came from Persia, and a lot of music from Persia came from Africa, and all these different musicians would meet together in campsites, and they would share music, and they would create a community of friendliness and happiness and basically healing and going into the spiritual connective with all of the universal. But every group of people have it's been the musicians that has kind of helped humanity join together in joy and be not just peaceful but joyful and blissful and towards a meditative, peaceful calm, and that is directly related to taking care of people on a kindness level and a compassion level. Because when people get together community-wise and play music or dance to it or just listen to it and enjoy it, they have this compassion for each other. And I feel like if we raise more of that in the atmosphere, it's kind of as the Jamaicans would say, the healing of the nation, and it's kind of the healing of all nations. It's the healing of the planetary, of everybody. Everybody's involved, and everybody can come. Usually musicians can play with each other. You get a Persian musician, and he plays with a Celtic Irish guy, and they can play together. It's like universal language. It's exactly. It's a language that is not spoken.
So what would you like the people, when they come to hear us play live, when they come to hear the FarRightShields.com band play live, what would you like for them to take away, or what would you like them to receive, or to get, or feel, or experience when they come to the shows?
That feeling of of joyful community with others, compassion, you know, increasing kindness, knowing that we're all basically humans looking for joy and love, and you know, and basically we're all deep down similar and the same in a lot of ways we don't understand. That you know, it is a joyful moment, you know, and people, I feel, will have that, oh, I'm just human, you know, I'm not like American or whatever nation, and you know, I'm just a human, and we're all humans, and it's all we're all like a family.
Right. So I like to switch subjects a little and talk about Patin, and who plays guitar with us. How did you meet Patin, and maybe what are some of your spiritual influences in life? Double question there, but how did you meet Patin?
Patin has kind of been in a parallel spiritual group as myself, and I've always known about him. He was kind of a young fella who was at this spiritual community we had up in Oregon, and I sort of know him, and I met up with him a couple times, and I knew that he was like a fabulous and very committed musician, and I always really wanted to play with him, but there was never any time. You know how people get separated by work and you know, no time left and all that stuff. But I knew that he had a lot of interest in it. So just recently I reconnected with him because I've known him about him and met him a couple times here and there for the last 30 years. And I've known that he's very, very committed to playing music and stuff. And so I was so happy to be able to come and play, you know, to come and meet and play with him. And he surprised me. But I haven't really known him like as I've known him off and on for like 30 years, and we've never had projects together until now. So I'm very happy to, you know, have this project, FarEyesShields.com, the music we're playing, and you know, the language that is musical is it's beyond conceptual talking language. So we have this kind of a milieu, this kind of a project where we can play together, do things together, and share together, you know, that magical beyond words. That was one of my favorite things about some of these songs when I was a kid, is when music goes beyond words and I don't have anything to say. That you know, that is to me the magical, mystical, meditational kind of a moment that I get. Here's the mountain in Fairfax. We're coming into Fairfax.
Very beautiful. So, what spiritual community were you and Patin part of?
There's a group of rebels, and not respected at the time by the different scholars, but we were all very life affirmative, and we had an Indian, a man who was born in India, but rumor had it that he was in Tibet before in a past life, but he was all very different than the other spiritual teachers or masters that I knew. I was always into Zen, and I kind of wanted to go to Japan. I did actually for a little while, but Zen and meditation and all that stuff. And he was like he was speaking about Zen a lot.
Wow.
For like 20 books. At that time it was Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, and now at one point he changed his name to kind of change the milieu. So he changed his name to a Japanese word that it means like a sensei is you know, the kung fu word for a Japanese teacher, but Osho is the word that is used for Japanese Zen masters,
Okay.
or Zen priest,
All right.
Osho. So he sort of wanted to not be called anything, but people need to have a name for people.
Have a name. Yeah.
He said, I want to be a nobody, no name, but it turns out that, everybody has to have, we have to dress people with a name.
Right.
So he is now called Osho. And,
Osho.
And the funny thing is that on the Hippie Hill, on the first day of the year, we met up with a gal who, Paten and I were both laughing because she asked us about Osho, that I don't know how that came up, but she said, "Oh, Osho the author," and of course he spoke all of those books. He spoke like 300 books, just every day speaking, and we were cracking up because now he's known as an author, and he's got 300 or more books in English in all these different languages as well. So he's a Zen master.
Zen master. Is it spelled O-S-H-O? Is that how you spell it?
O-S-H-O, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've actually never looked it up, but we have arrived at our location, so thank you, Krishnanda. We're going to actually check in with Paten in a little bit.
Paten's here. Let's go say hi.
Let's go see him. All right.
We're going to jam.
Say bye to everyone.
We're going to be jamming.
Hope to see you at the show, right?
And as far I would say, we're going to make some joyous noise.
Mm-hmm. Hope to see you at the show.
And see you at the show.
All right.
Oh, here he is talking now.